Hello, come on in. Please take a seat. Make yourself comfortable. Did you see outside we have some tea? You did? Okay, so feel free to have some of that at any point. Well, it's nice to meet you. I know we've emailed a little bit, but I'm Ray. Welcome to Sunshine University. Yeah. Oh, no need to be nervous. We're gonna get everything sorted out today. And I want to make sure you leave feeling prepared and a little bit more confident about your future. Okay, awesome. So, do you know your student ID? No, no worries. I can find you by name. You'll just have to remind me of spelling. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if there were two S's. Yeah, okay. Okay, so yes, I have you pulled up. So before we get into registering for classes today, because yes, we can do that if you are ready, I want to hear a little bit from you, what you're looking for, and what your hopes and dreams are for the future. So like, what are you hoping to major in? Okay. Not quite sure. Well, we can kind of walk through it and talk through it today, and maybe you can get a better idea of what you want. Yeah, so you said computer science, education, or art history? Okay, so very all across the board there. Or art. Okay, so kind of we are looking at like 4 different, well, actually, it's not really 4 different. So in terms of education, we do have a specific major in education, and if you did that one, it would be under our Human Development and Family Sciences path department, and so that if you majored in that, it would be specifically early childhood education, and that would be kind of more catered towards those younger kids. And as we talk more about that, you'll kind of learn about like practicum, and you'll be in schools doing like student teaching and observation and things like that. Now, in terms of education, that is actually a concentration available to all of our other majors. So for example, as an art major, you can concentrate in, say, painting, sculpture, but you could also concentrate in education. So that would be your concentration. So then you would be, you would get a BFA, Bachelor of Fine Arts, with a concentration in education. And that would allow you to not only have a BFA, but also have a certificate, a teaching certificate by the end. So yeah, so that could be a good option. And then that way, so you're not choosing between teaching and art or teaching and computer science. You would be doing both simultaneously, and then you would be taking major specific classes. So you would be taking coding classes, computer science classes, or you'd be taking art classes. And then you would also be taking education classes that would be preparing you for being in schools. And then some of those education classes actually would be in schools, and you'd be working with children right off the bat. So if you did go with that option, I actually know for a fact that you would be working with children your first semester, this upcoming semester, provided you can pass the background checks or yeah. So how does that sound? Does that kind of give you a clearer understanding? So double majoring is an option. I will be honest with you that is going to extend your time here by quite a bit, and we can start looking at some of your credits that you have available. Yeah, and see kind of what the graduation plan is, what your timeline would look like, and how much longer you would need to be here. And that might help inform your choice. Because if I'm not mistaken, and let me go ahead and start looking. If I'm not mistaken, what I saw was a lot of art classes already. And so that would mean you'd probably be able to, yeah, okay. So that would probably mean a quicker graduation, a sooner graduation date, if that is what you're looking for. And most people are, obviously, that makes it cheaper. But yeah, so everyone's goal is different, and if double majoring is what you're looking for, my warning as your advisor would be that with the education practicum and the studio art classes and the computer science classes, it would be a lot on you. I wouldn't want you taking probably more than 20 credits at a time, and that would be the maximum. I usually recommend around 15 to 17 credits, and that would make you a full-time student, and that is a lot. The studio classes are quite demanding. The CS classes are quite demanding. There's going to be a lot of coding outside of class. There's going to be a lot of sculpting outside of class, and then your practicum is requiring you to go into schools. When it comes to your student teaching, that is going to be a full semester. Yeah. Well, you wouldn't be permitted to take other classes during that semester. So, yeah. Like I said, it is what you want, and I will do my best as your advisor to make it happen as smoothly and quickly as possible, but those are just some, a word of caution, I guess. And then the other thing is I would assign you a second advisor. Yeah. To kind of make sure you're on the right path. So I kind of specialize in the art department, but I would get you acquainted with the computer science and engineering advisor as well. Yeah. So yeah, as I said, looking at your credits, like you already have at least 3. I'm seeing at least 3 arts-based electives that would cover some of those credits. I'm seeing an art history that's putting you on a good path. I guess you did mention art history as a potential interest of yours, and if that were the case, you have a credit in that, well, 3 credits, but a class under your belt. So yeah. And I am not seeing any coding classes. Oh, okay. That's awesome. I will say, I'm not sure if that is like accredited and if you would be able to transfer those credits. So doing like a coding online course is awesome. I'd love to do something like that. But yeah, I can't tell you yes or no. I'd have to actually see if you could send me over those. You want to just go with art. Okay. Of course, you can always change your mind. But yeah, so you'd basically be a junior by the start of this year. And so it'd be good to get you started on some more specific classes. Like, it looks great. All these gen ed courses you've taken, and those are required, and they're pretty much applicable to any path you're taking here at Sunshine University. Yeah. So you're in a good spot. And and you can always change your major, but let's lock one in. So you're saying art education. Okay, perfect. And then also, if you do change your mind, those education classes will apply anywhere. So then if you end up wanting to go the computer science education route, which is really interesting, it's actually a newer program and we only have a few students in it. But yeah, if you want to go that route, then the education classes we'll sign you up for this semester will also apply to that other major and concentration. Yeah. Okay, so art with the concentration in education. So with what you have taken taken, we kind of require, so basically the way it goes is like there's these foundations courses. I'm speaking more generally to the art degree. Foundations courses. And then, and that's everyone's taking that. Then you're going to be taking studio intros. Studio intros are intro to pottery, intro to sculpture, intro to painting, intro to photography. So that is going to be your basic introduction into different media, specific media. So, and it looks like you've taken 3 of the required foundations courses, because you went to Mountain Community College, is that right? Okay, great. Yeah, and so they offer 3 of our 4 required ones, and those will transfer, so don't worry about that. So you have taken concepts in 2D design, that transfers as art 135, okay. Then you have taken, okay, yeah, and so the only one left you need to take is sculpture foundations. So basically what that is 3D design, concepts in 3D space is maybe what it was called at Mountain College. Yeah. So that one is art 180. Okay, and it looks like there are 3 sections of that, and you're coming to me pretty early, so you don't have to worry about seats being full, as much as someone who was doing this last minute would, so good on you for doing that. And I'm going to have you do this on your own, because obviously you might want to check your schedule if you have if you work, or have any other obligations, checking your schedule against those things. Yeah, so it's usually easier if I let the students do it by themselves, but I will send you all of the information on how to do this, and I will let you know what the course codes are so you select the correct classes. Okay? So yeah, Art 180, and I'm going to be typing this up in an email to you, and then you can go ahead after this meeting and go ahead and sign up. Yeah, or you can do it during, but okay, so Art 180, so that is sculpture. Let me make sure this is okay. And then, so that's your foundations done, and so then you can actually pick either 1 or 2 more studio intros. So this is when you could take intro ceramics. This is when you could take, yeah, those ones I mentioned. Yeah, okay. So we have photography, ceramics, sculpture, painting, drawing, figure drawing, printmaking, and digital design. I feel like there were a few more. So why is it not showing it to me? Yes. And we have metalsmithing, and fibers. So those are what we have available. Fibers is like textiles, weaving, embroidery, fabric. Okay. Yep. So if you want to take that one, that is art. And so the foundations are going to be with the 1 in front of it. So art 180, that's your basic sculpture. Art 222 is going to be that fibers. So if you want to, when you look in our system, that's how you can find that one and find the available times. And then if you were looking, if there's conflict, I recommend looking at other classes, because sometimes it's a little hard to get these to line up with your schedule. Yeah. Ceramic. Yeah, so that one is printmaking. Okay, well, I'll give you both. So 265 and 235, all with the prefix art. Okay, great. And I'll let you know, so in terms of your pathway, your timeline for graduation requirements, we require all of our art education concentration majors to take all of the 200 level classes. So the idea behind it, right, is you're going to be an art teacher and you'll be teaching students all kinds of different things, and so we don't want it that you leave here having only taken painting classes and you can't teach sculpture to the students. So that's why we require, and you'll have a chance to concentrate and take upper division classes, like, for example, fibers 2, 3, 4 as kind of electives and extras, but you will have to take all those 200s at some point, so all those studio intros. Yeah. Okay, so here's just another word of caution that I'll give you. We don't recommend taking more than 2 studios at a time because of how demanding they are. And this is based on feedback we've gotten from both students and professors. Yeah. So I'd say definitely take the 180. That's a requirement. And then choose between either the fibers, printmaking, or ceramics. Yeah. And I'll put this in the email. Okay, so let's say you're taking 2 studios. Let's put you in 3 more classes. And I'm sorry, I didn't ask. Are you trying to be full-time? Okay. Yeah, and you can drop if 5 becomes too much. To be on your graduation path, graduate at the, expedited time, we recommend you take the 5 classes. But that being said, you can always drop. Yeah. Okay. So 3 more classes. What I would do for someone in your position is I would make 2 of those education classes and 1 of those art history. So art history is required of all of our art education majors, no matter their concentration. So you basically just have to take foundational art history. So it's world art history. And you did take art history 1, and I do see that from your Mountain College records. But you'll need to take art history 2, 3, and 4 are our basic requirements. And you have to take those in order. Obviously, they're chronological. So if we put you in art history 2, that would fill another time slot. Again, there should be a few sections of that. There's either 2 or 3 this year. Okay, 2. The second one they offer is like in the evening, so there's usually not a conflict with that one, but let me know if there's a conflict and we can find you a different class. And so the course code for that one is Art 113. Is that right? 112. Art 112. Okay. Put that in the email. So that is Art History 2, World Art History 2. And then the 2 education courses I'm going to put you in. So these are going to be kind of your basics. So one of them is, so EDU is the prefix when you go to sign up. So EDU 230 and EDU 340. 230, 340. So 230 is called History of Schooling, and that one's kind of about like the history of schooling. But yeah, it's going to go over different issues and kind of how schooling has got to the way it is today. That one doesn't have an associated practicum, so that one is just going to be completely lecture based. So that one should be time-wise, schedule-wise, should be pretty easy. And then EDU 340 is going to have an attached practicum. So when you go to sign up, it should be pretty simple, but to avoid any confusion, you pick the lecture, and then it's going to tell you to add lab, and you add lab, and then lab is when you're going to be actually inside a school. I believe it's a middle school, maybe it's a high school. Yeah, so that will be your lab. So EDU 230, EDU 340. Add lecture. Add lecture first, then add lab. Okay, so looking at this, you will be taking Foundations of Sculpture. You'll be taking Art History 2, History of Schooling, and then Concepts in Schooling. That's the one with the practicum in the school. Yeah. No, this is actually, there's no prerequisite for the practicum, the 340. What I think, how it works is you'll do the lecture a couple weeks before, and they'll prepare you to be in the school. So they're not just gonna like throw you in the deep end. I know you don't have teaching experience. Yeah. Yeah, so don't worry about that. Your professor will make sure to tell you everything that you need to know before you go in. So yeah, that should be pretty simple. Yeah, and then the last one was the studio intro, which you're trying for fibers, so that's the 222. But if you can't get that one, just whatever one you can fit in your schedule, because as I said, you'll need to take all of them. Yeah. Okay, so looking good. And is there anything else I can help you with? Sure. So it's in Sunweb. Yeah, that's the portal. So you log in with your student ID. Have you logged into your Sunweb before? You probably would have to check your application status. Yeah. Yes, so it's going to be in there, and you're going to go to the menu, and under menu, there's going to be a button that says register. Yeah. So you can go there. Yeah, go ahead and do it right now. I can walk you through it. We have a few more minutes. Okay. Yeah, so under the register tab, there's gonna be another button that says register, because it's gonna say like add drop course codes. Yes, and then you're just gonna hit register. Perfect. And it took you to a new tab. Yep. And it looks different? Yes. Okay. And it should say registration. Okay. So, and then in the middle of the screen, this is funny. I should probably just be doing this with you. But after all these years, I do have it in my head. But in the middle, there's going to be a search bar, right? And then above that, there's a drop down. So in the drop down, it's going to have all of the different course prefixes. So that's where you're going to find whether it's art, EDU, computer science, whatever it is. It's going to have that 3-letter prefix. So go ahead and select art, because that'll be right at the top. So we can do this one as an example. Okay, select art in the drop down, and in that search bar, you're gonna type the numbers. So let's search for 180. So it's gonna say art 180. Yep, and then you're just gonna hit search. That's right, I forgot. The third drop down is just gonna select so you're starting in the fall? Yeah, so just select fall and it'll say the year. Perfect. Okay, now hit search. Okay, perfect. Now it's gonna show up it's gonna have all the sections showing up. Yep. So there's what? 2 sections? There's 1 section? Interesting. We should probably have more than 1 section of that. Well, luckily this is your first one you're signing up for. By the time you're on your 5th one, it might be a little bit of a, what is that? Tetris. But, so just go ahead and select that one. That makes it easier, right? So just pick that one, add it to your schedule. Sorry, yes, on the right-hand side, there's a button that says add. Yes, perfect. So now in the lower left, you're gonna see a calendar, and it's gonna kind of show, your potential schedule. Yeah. And then this part's, you have to remember to do this in the lower right corner. Hit save changes. Yeah. Because otherwise it's just going to keep it like temporary, and it's not actually going to enroll you in the class. Yeah. So it's important that you hit save changes, and then you'll see that on the schedule, it went from like blinking to solid. Perfect. Yeah. So now that it's saved, now you can go back to the, so in the upper left, it's gonna have just like a little back arrow. You go back and then you can do it again with all the other course codes I gave you. So you hit the drop down for art or EDU, you type the number, you'd make sure you've selected fall of this year, and then you'd hit search, and then you'd pick, and then you can kind of finagle it and kind of move your schedule to be like, you know, to make sure it works. It's not going to let you have overlapping classes, unfortunately. Usually there are times so that you will have a 10-minute gap to get between classes, but I do recommend paying attention to that. So just in case one ends at 1 and another starts at 1, unless they're literally in the same building right next to each other, just keep in mind that you're going to have to be going between those classes. Yeah. So that's something some students don't pay attention to, but just something to think about. Obviously, think about when you're having lunch and this and that. Some students like to load up their Tuesdays, Thursdays to keep their Monday, Wednesday, Friday free. Some students like to pace it out across the 5 days. Honestly, it's probably just about making sure you can get all 5 of these in your schedule. But yeah, so do you have any more questions about the actual registration process? Not unless you feel like you need to. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me by email or schedule an appointment with me like you did today. But yeah, other than that, once you hit submit changes and on your 5th class, your schedule will be solidified. And by the time the fall semester rolls around, you'll be enrolled and you'll just attend those classes. Yeah. Yeah. Good. I'm glad you're less worried. Yeah, and there's really no need to be worried. We're all here for you. Yeah, I'm here for you. Your professors will be here to guide you. There's plenty of resources on campus. You can either schedule, you can also do I have drop-in hours. And I'll just attach my drop-in hours. If you just need to talk, you just need some tea. There's tea outside. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be a little busy as it gets closer to the semester. Those last minute people tend to all schedule at the same time, but yeah, again, just shoot me an email if you have any questions. And then I will just go ahead and send this to you right now to your student email. Have you been able to log into your student email? Yeah. Okay, perfect. And I recommend checking that for updates or whatever, but this will give you the information you need to just get registered. Yeah. So that would be with your financial advisor. Yeah. And you can do the same thing. We're actually in the same building. I don't know who yours is, but they're all great. And yeah, so for any like payment, tuition questions, I'm not really the person for that, but I mean, you can ask me and I can always direct it to the financial advisor. So yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm really glad I was able to help today. I hope you have a great first semester. Again, welcome to Sunshine University. And yeah, and have a great rest of your summer. All right, take care. You can leave it open. Yeah, no worries. Okay, bye.